Hello, and once again, welcome to Do Life. We are continuing our conversation that we ended last week, and I feel this time you just enjoy the rest of our story. And Dr. Johnson is still here, Dr. Sandra K. Johnson. It's always a joy to have you, and it's always a joy to discuss because you pull things out of me, and the conversation is very solid and yet fluid. We are talking about entrepreneurship. We're talking about opportunities. So I'll throw it back at you, and let's just take it any direction you feel we should take it.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, I want to start more or less to elaborate more on the end of our last conversation, where you talked about how when it comes to mobile phones and mobile phone service providers, how the top mobile phone service providers of the world more or less ignore the African continent. But now, Africans sometimes in the middle of nowhere have two phones, mobile phones. So how did that happen? Could you elaborate on that?
Well, it happened because, the world has become a small community. We are all intertwined and interconnected by cell phone. It's no longer a distance because the moment internet connected all of us, it made us one big community. That is why commerce, that is how news, information can disseminate as quick. And also, anything that happens in this end is heard here in seconds. In the past, we rely on television news. But today, with the internet and with a picture, with a video picture, or just with a phone picture, everything is just at our disposal. So Africa is proving to us, or Africa has become the place where people are realizing it's not far as we think after all. By cell phone, by internet, we are so interconnected. So if we talk about the way telephones got into Africa and the impact it's had, not only the phone, but also something like remittance services. The services. UPS and all of that, they are everywhere now. It's not just in one place. You realize that, hey, if you have a business and you count Africa out, then consider your future profit as nil. You can't do business in isolation today because the market is grown. It's not in one place. Just imagine things that were once upon a time popular in Asia. Today it's popular here. Why do we use something like internet services, marketing services to push products, advertise products, and also to buy products? Because that's where the market is. So cell phone, like any other industry or any other needed services for Africa, is there. People are actually patronizing, making use of it. So if you want to do business in Africa, you should not for once think of, Africa is too far. Because the cell phone industry, when they came to Africa, they realized that they've got a permanent and also progressive and successful market. Because Africans buy phones. Africans will buy phones. Not just one, but at least some have two, some have three phones. So the market, cell phone market, is huge. Repairs is huge. And also, something like some of these internet services.
Internet service providers.
Service providers, they're everywhere now in Africa. So you cannot isolate Africa or actually ignore Africa and have a successful business. Africa is a huge market, and the multinationals are aware of it. They realize that, hey, Africa is a growing economy, and the fastest growing economies in the world. 5 of them were in Africa. So how do you ignore Africa? You can't. You have to consider Africa as a stable, strong, expanding market. You can buy, you can sell, and also you could do big business in Africa.
So I want to expand on this a little bit about the fact that big businesses, in the past, and they're just beginning to wake up, ignored the continent because they assumed that the market was not there. So going back to the mobile phones, right? Because the big mobile phone service providers ignored the market, that was an opportunity that a native African, South African, took advantage of and created a mobile phone service company, MTN. Now, most people here in the U.S. probably have never heard of MTN. But anyone who knows, has been to Africa, from Africa, live in Africa, they know MTN,
Yes.
one of the largest mobile phone service providers on the continent, right? And so that was an opportunity that the rest of the world missed. I will share with you another opportunity, as another example, and maybe you can share more. When I traveled around the continent of Africa, just about every capital, every major city in the countries that I visited had very popular country music radio programs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, country music is extremely popular
Yeah.
on the continent of Africa. I don't think the country music industry in this country is aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation with a guy who's a promoter. He puts together concerts around the continent of Africa. And I said to him, have you focused on country music artists?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no, why should I? And I said, you will sell a lot of tickets if you can bring country music artists to give concerts in any city in Africa. He could not believe it. I said, check it out. But that's just one example. You would not think country music. It's not very popular among the African diaspora, at least in this country. But on the continent of Africa, it's just, they sing along, they know the words to every song for all of the artists. It's just amazing. So there are many, many other examples of opportunities that are missed that we as a people can take advantage of. Are there others that you can share?
Yeah. There are so many aspects of it. In fact, one of the reasons why country music became popular in Africa was because the early missionaries that came, most of the songs they sang were country, they are storytelling. And Africans are best storytellers. So if you have a song that tells a story and the story resonates, people not only gravitate to it, you get a permanent market. You see, the beauty of Africa and the other markets that I'm about to mention is that, you see, when industries here even fail, let's just give an example. There are industries that once upon a time were so hot, but today they are no longer, some of them are no longer in existence. But they opened shops in Africa before some of them went belly up here. Those shops are still around. There are so many industries, so many organizations that are no longer relevant in America, but they have just found a new market in Africa. Why? Because Africa is a loyal market. The culture and the tradition of our people is such that whatever we have, we hold on and we pass on to our children's children. So we are people who, just like if somebody has a good shirt and they've outgrown the shirt, they don't throw it away, they pass it down to their brother or nephew or whatever. It's passed on. It's the same with products. When you give somebody a product or give somebody a shoe, give somebody a telephone, and you no longer have need of the telephone, they don't throw it away. If it needs to be fixed, it will be fixed and it will be passed on to the next person in line. So remember, the names and brands don't die easily in Africa. Here, the competition is so keen, it dies. Somebody will have a good idea, good product, but because the market is clouded and there's so much competition, it may not have entrance into the market here. But if you are able to bring this product to Africa, get interest, the loyalty of your people or the people you find would help expand your product. So we talk about country music, and also we talk about even just like, let's say, even clothing, fashion. I mean, fashion. There's no brand that is used here that is not used in Africa. Any brand, you just name them. Any brand. The price of the price of, for example, iPhone is the same price there. Will they buy it? Of course, people will save money to buy them. That tells you that the world is getting smaller. So there are many brands. Clothing, anything that has got to do with fashion, do with electronics, do with media, it's there. The same way African music is become very popular around the world. So the world is getting smaller, closer. So if you have certain things that you feel can benefit Africa, take advantage of the opportunity and look for ways and means to actually connect with people on the continent and see what will happen to your product. It will go up faster than you think. It will grow beyond your expectation, and the profit is unending. So I just say that we have great opportunities in Africa. I will encourage anyone who is watching, to at least start finding out, learn about the markets in Africa, and try to learn about what Africans are thinking today. Majority of our population today are young, as you've said. They are growing with the rest of the world. They are very informed. They listen to the news. Social media sends news as fast, so they know what's happening in the world. They understand the cultures, the lingos, all over. So if you actually have something that you feel, Africans are so far removed that they may not understand or connect, you are mistaken. They understand what's happening, and they are smart. They are very intelligent, and also they are business savvy. You go on our streets, you see small kids hawking, selling on the street. Every kid in Africa knows buying and selling. So they are naturally born entrepreneurs. We go to school to learn how to speak and write. But entrepreneurship is born within families. If you are a family and maybe your family has pineapples, you learn how to sell. If you have oranges, you learn how to sell. So people learn how to do business at a very younger age. So you're talking about people are savvy in business, they understand business, and they can literally market anything that ought to be marketed, because it's all about marketing and also exposure and also bringing value to products. And I believe that Africa is a good place for business. So if there are people who are looking to do business or either want to invest, and for the last few sessions, we've been talking about this thing, investment. You want to invest, or you want to partner, or you have an idea, you want to test it in Africa, well, find somebody who's from Africa and get to understand where and how you can literally put your products, ideas, your thoughts together and polish it and see how amazing results you may get. I just say that I'll stand for Africa any day, and I invite anyone who wants to do something that is profitable to consider Africa. If you leave Africa out, consider that your market share will be this small. But if you consider Africa, then I'll tell you the sky is the limit.
Just one comment I want to share based upon what you said about Africans from a young age. They're just natural entrepreneurs. I remember one time on a business trip to Lagos, Nigeria, and I still have the image of this mind of this entrepreneur who was walking up and down the busy street with a sewing machine on his shoulder and scissors in the other hand, saying, "I can tailor your outfit for you." I'm like, really? He has a sewing machine, and he was getting business right there in the middle of a busy street. I thought that was amazing. And I'm thinking, oh, if he had the capital and the business plan, he can expand this, right? So the opportunities are there. And I know you just mentioned this, but for those who may have missed it, why don't we close by sharing someone who may be inspired by these series of conversations that we've had? How do I get started? What do I have to do?
To get started in business, first and foremost, you have to identify what you want to do or what business interests you. And secondly, do your research or find out from people who are either in that industry, read up about that industry, and also understand your product or whatever you want to sell. And when you are able to get these things done, then test it. Test your idea and make sure your idea is relevant. Test it with people you could trust. There are some people who have resources and looking for ideas to either buy or to steal. There are people who are idea stealers, and there are those who are idea investors, who invest in ideas or buy ideas. So if you have an idea that is a great idea, and this idea is holding you or keeping you awake most of the time, bounce it off someone who has experience, someone who knows about business, and literally put it before them and let them give you some directions or to assist you to crystallize that vision or that idea. Then once it's crystallized, find ways and means to put it together, then test it. Then you make it open to the world. There are also times that you have to not only believe in the product or believe in the idea or believe in the vision or believe in that business, you have to be willing to work it. Working it from the smallest point. Some people believe that if they have an idea, then the idea will make them millionaires overnight. No, it doesn't work that way. Every $1 million idea starts with hands on the deck, starts with working hard and all of that. Anything that is easy to get, it doesn't worth keeping. If it's something that worth keeping, then you have to make sure that you are willing to pay the price for it. I mean, there are some ideas that you may have that may not meet the demand for a particular time. It doesn't mean your idea is bad or your vision is dead. It means it's an idea which time has not come. But if you believe in it strong enough and you test different markets, let me tell you, it will work. There are so many people with great ideas that is not going to fly here. Bring it to Africa and see how amazing. There are certain times you have to start in obscure places before your product will find light or will find reception in the needed spaces. So if you have an idea and you don't know where to start, and this idea is eating you up, write it down. Keep writing. Write down the idea. Explain the idea that you have. You may not be able to explain it completely, but write down, this is a thought, an idea that I have. But ideas should be able to solve a problem. If your idea is to making money but doesn't solve a problem, then the idea is dead in its track. Every idea that you have should be able to solve a problem.
Write the vision and make it plain.
That is correct. So that he that is running will run with it. Even though the vision or the idea may tarry, wait for it. It is for an appointed time. It will surely come to pass. There are some dreams and visions that takes 10 years to manifest, some 12 years, some 4 years, some 30 years. But no matter what it is, if the vision is embedded in you and is deep in you, don't run away from it. Don't brush it off. Nurture it, honor it, respect it, work it, and at the perfect timing, it will come. The ideas, once it is crystallized, will attract interest. And some of the interest will be investment. So whatever idea that you have, which is a solid idea, don't expect it to manifest overnight. Let it go through the process and trust the process. Because in the process, your idea will be crystallized. In the process, your idea will find roots. And in the process, your idea will be validated.
Thank you very much, Your Majesty. This has been outstanding.
And it's always a joy for me, Dr. Sandra K. Johnson, to engage and chat with you. And you know, I enjoy doing this with you. So hopefully we'll do more. And if you don't mind, next week, let's get back on again and let's talk about another subject, because we share a common bond, and it's amazing. We share common faith, and besides that, we all have engineering background, electrical engineering background, and thirdly, entrepreneurship, and we serve the same God, and we go to the same church, and I happen to be your pastor and spiritual covering, and it's a joy. But thank you for your friendship. Thank you also for your wisdom, and thank you for what you mean to the world, to me, my family, Life International Body, and also to the world at large. We are honored God gave you to the world as a gift. And we bless the womb that bore you. Your mom be blessed, your father be blessed, and your generation is grateful you came. Thank God for your life. Now, to our dear ones, what a joy to share with you. And we hope to see you same time next week. Don't you miss it. We love you, and God bless you for doing life with us.
Hey, Life International family. Thanks for watching another Do Life session powered by King Adamtey. We hope that you are blessed by today's discussion and have learned some key principles that you can apply to your everyday life. Join us next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next Do Life session. You can join us by visiting our YouTube channel, We're Life International RTP, and if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss a session. If you're in the Research Triangle Park or the surrounding area, we would love for you to join us on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our worship service. We're located at 5310 South Austin Avenue, Durham, North Carolina, 27713. If you're not able to join us in person, don't worry. You can join us via live stream by visiting lifeinternational.us/DOLifeTV. If you were blessed by today's message, we encourage you to give. Your giving is how we can continue to bring you messages like this on a weekly basis. You can give via text using your mobile device by texting your donation amount to 84321. You can also give online by visiting us at lifeinternational.us/give. Or you can give by scanning the QR code with your mobile device's camera. Thank you for supporting our ministry through giving. We look forward to doing life with you. Have a blessed week. We'll see you next time. Bye.